the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your host, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Daniel, what a year it's been.
Yeah, no. It's been fantastic, honestly.
Right.
There was some hiccups with us.
Sure.
Not recording, taking time off, not getting the videos up on time. But it's still been a heck of a year. Hey, I gotta do all the behind the scenes
I give you props because you're doing the actual work, right? So, if anybody gives you guff in the comments, and they would be giving you guff, by the way.
Yeah.
Specifically. But you have no right to give him guff because he does all the work. I show up once a week. Now, granted, I am the one who created the podcast, right? Yeah. But you ran with it. So this is your baby.
It's not just the fact that you created the podcast. We've been talking about doing a podcast for a while, and then you're just like, you know what? Let's do it.
We're doing this.
Okay.
It's happening.
And then all of a sudden, I just took over everything.
Yeah. And then you got really good at a lot of good stuff. I'm like, man, you're awesome, dude. So, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I don't mind. So you have no right to give specifically him guff. Now, feel free to get on my case for being lazy. That's fine. I am not exempting myself from that at all. But he has no right. He's been working really hard to get you this content. So don't feel bad about your progress, sir.
It's been slow, but for different reasons. But I'm getting better at it. My editing could still use work, and we'll get more into that discussion here soon. But honestly, I've done a lot of work in building what we needed to do to get this podcast better. The sound's getting better.
Yes.
We're together now.
That's right.
So that's been
it's
in the same room. It's been really nice. Getting art on the wall over there. Thanks a lot.
Great decor, right? It's really coming together.
Thanks to you, thanks to my wife, and thanks to Board Games Calendar.
That's right.
There may be a smaller shelf getting put up on the wall where the calendar and everything is soonish. I gotta look for it. My goal for that is I want to get a smaller shelf, only do half a shelf, kind of like what these are, but like the smaller deck ones.
Yeah.
And then move all my small box games like La Isla, Castles of Burgundy, Tuscany, and all that. Move it onto that shelf. This way, this can be the big box shelves.
That's awesome. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So
I know I'll be talking about details like that very soon. All of these. So. What's our topic today, Daniel?
Our topic is the revisiting of our 2022 gaming goals. Since we are literally, 4 days away? Yeah. 4 days away to
4 days away
New Year's Eve, 5 days to the New Year. We figured we'd visit this because this will actually go up next week in the New Year.
That's right. So,
or at least Friday.
I will get spoilers ahead. I will give a couple little caveats, and I will explain why I'm doing that when we get to that part, and because
we have some plans for the new year. We do want to set up our new goals for that year as well. We want to revisit our most anticipated games of this year. So there's a couple things that we want to do. So it's like this is the best time for us to do it right now. Is to revisit 100%. The goals. Plus, we're also talking about redoing our top 100 for the anniversary specials leading up to our anniversary when we go into the top 8 debates, Champions editions.
That's right.
Because we already did our what's new to us revisited at the end of the year.
Sure.
It's either up now or it's going to be up within a couple days.
That's right. So check it out if you get a chance to. But today we're going to be... I feel like this is... For me, this episode is going to be... Here's why. Let me explain myself.
Let me explain. Okay.
I'm going to try and talk my way out of a good portion of these.
I think I did better this year than I did last year.
Yes. I don't remember how many I did, how poor I did.
I only got 3.
Last year, I remember I was very ambitious. Maybe only 2, and that's probably not too far from here. So, when I was in high school... I remember there was one year that they asked me, it's like, so what's your New Year's resolution? And I told them at that time, my New Year's resolution is to never make a resolution ever again. And I stood my ground for 20 years after that. For a long, long time.
We don't really call it resolutions. We kind of do, but it's also mainly gaming goals.
Yeah, gaming goals for the year. Right. But I was very stern about doing that. And every single year, I would say, this year, I said, I am no longer doing... resolutions, and I've held true to that resolution.
So one year you were successful.
I was successful for that 1 decade, probably. Yeah. At least. It was probably about 15 years that I did that straight.
And again, after rewatching the video I can remember what my resolutions are. The reason why we do 8 of these things is because that's just our brand. Top 8 debate. 8 games chosen.
That's right.
Just make it on brand, I guess you could say. Yeah,
exactly. So that's why we do it. So here's going to be our reasoning. And of course, we normally post something if it's like a top 8 debate or a discussion topic. We put it in the Board Game Revolution forum. I want to give them a shout out. We didn't for this one just because this is personal to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but normally the Board Game Revolution group on Facebook, great group. Definitely check them out. They're not a sponsor. They're not involved with us whatsoever. We just use that platform because it's a great platform.
Yeah, and we talk with them from time to time.
Absolutely.
Had a few conversations with the guy who runs it because he's also a colorblind person. So.
I didn't realize he was. Wow, yeah. Okay. Well,
he talks about it as much as we do.
So one of the games I'm going to talk about later, I'm going to very much get on its case for that. Okay. It's not a big deal, but it's a big enough deal. It's a big deal. So anyway, Daniel, what have you been playing lately?
All right, so I had to actually pull some games from way back about 3 weeks ago because I only played 3 games in the last week since we last talked. It's just because it's been the Christmas holiday, been busy. Yeah. We had the game night last Wednesday. We only played 3 games that night.
Yes.
But
those 3 games
were actually really good.
Oh, we're going to talk about those games.
Oh, yeah, but the first one is the one I'm talking about way back when. We've talked about it before. Mm-hmm. Our mutual friend wanted to play this game because he's the only one out of our group that hasn't played this specific game. And this one is a Uwe Rosenberg game. And that's actually, I really like this one. In fact, I almost picked this up at Barnes & Noble when they were doing the 50% off sale.
Yep.
And this is New York Zoo.
Yeah, New York Zoo is cool.
It's phenomenal. There's no scores. You're basically trying to be the first person in the most efficient way to fill out your incomplete zoo.
Yeah.
And first player has the shorter board or the longer board because they get the best choice at the beginning of the game. You're just trying to fill your board, breed your animals. This way you can get special polynomials to put in there to help fill spaces because all of these polynomials are just weird shapes. They're not even like tetranomials like you would see in Tetris. There's like six-sided ones, 5-sided ones, 4-sided ones, and then your special ones is like 3s and 2s and 1s.
Right.
And so I've played this twice, and I find this game phenomenal. I love the animeeples in this game.
Yep.
They're adorable, and then trying to breed them and be like, okay, I'm trying to set myself up. I'm going to get this one in here, get this one in here, because I know that's going to pass here soon. So I'm going to be able to breed them. By breeding them allows you to get special ones to help build, contain areas, and then you get to save one and put it in your storage. And just there's a lot of moving parts. I love the patchwork aspect of it, but except for the buttons on the board, everybody's playing with the same pawn and they're trying to figure out the best point. And there was one point in that game where our mutual friend Dom was like, you know what, no, Danny, I know you need that one. And so he made it where you couldn't get
mathematically I couldn't do it
to that piece because you and me both needed that piece. Because I needed to finish off a section. I was nowhere near completing anything on my board, but I needed that one specifically to fill that space. And then the next breeding cycle would allow me to pick up more of the single pieces to help fill holes and gaps in my game. But yeah, New York Zoo is a phenomenal game. If you haven't tried it, it's inexpensive. It's normal price is what, $40,
something like that.
Yeah, because you could have picked it. Yeah, you could have picked it up at Barnes and Noble recently for $20. I think is what it was for half off. Yeah, that was a crazy sell, by the way.
Yeah, it was very painful.
Wasn't painful for me. I only bought 2 games. I was smart about it. Well,
about 6.
I had to be smart about it. I still have a friendmas that's coming, so I don't know what gifts I got there. And so I was like, I got to check this list and make sure. And a lot of the games that I wanted to buy was on that list, like Star Wars, the Clone Wars, the Pandemic set was there. And I'm like, no, that's on that list. I can't. But I was able to pick up Mind Management, and I was able to pick up Legends, Imperium Legends to go with my classics. So that's cool. I can't hate.
No.
But so going back to my game was New York Zoo.
All right.
And how's it going, Illuminus?
Hey, Illuminus. So the first game I wanted to talk about that I've been playing is one that I played actually the other night. Last night, actually. I sat down with my son, and I taught him how to play it. It's called Super Skill Pinball the holiday special. I picked this up recently. Yep. And from what I heard from the reviewers, a couple of the boards, like the Christmas Vacation one, not much. The Elf apparently like has nothing to do with Elf the movie. It has like a single picture and everything else is just like standard stuff.
That's fine. Elf is the most disappointing Christmas movie ever.
Yes. Put your hate mail in the comments below. Elf sucks. Anyway, so I will fight you with this. Elf
My
is
wife
terrible.
loves it, but I can't stand it.
It's awful. Let's talk about how bad that movie is real quick for a moment.
Will Ferrell is hit or miss with me. There's some movies I like of his, and then there's some I don't like of his.
There's the vast majority of movies I really dislike.
When he's trying not to be funny, I like him.
Yes.
Like, one of my favorite movies of him is a very guilty pleasure for me, and that's, what is it called? Stranger Than Fiction. Where he's a character in someone's book, but he's actually real life. That's really one of the few movies I actually like.
Okay, I have heard of that. That sounds interesting, actually. I would probably do it. But, so the Christmas story board in Super Skill Pinball, it's cool of how it works. There's a bunch of different features, and it actually uses part of the backboard as like the visiting Santa part. Oh, okay. So you have to knock it up the staircase, and then hit bumpers, and then it comes down the slide, which is hilarious. And then there's all sorts of different features. There's like the lamp, the bully, but probably my favorite is the dare feature, where if you light up all 4 dare pieces,
we'll get back.
Yeah, if you get all 4 dare pieces, you then get to say right then and there if you're going to go for a single dog dare, a double dog dare, or a triple dog dare.
Is that the Christmas Story one?
This is the Christmas Story.
This is the reason why I wanted it, just for Christmas Story.
So what's great is you are betting on single dog dare is a 7, and then it's an 8 for a double dog dare, and a 9 for a triple dog dare. The very next roll after you've declared it determines if you score those points, and it's either 10, 20, or 30 points right off the bat. So if I do a triple dog dare and we roll a 9 or higher, I get 30 points flat.
Oh, man.
But one of the features, one of the sides is the decoder ring. That's the flaps that you can knock down. If you get that, you can make it so the next time you do a dare is a +2. And I did that, and my son rolled a 4. And I'm like, darn it! Wasn't even close. It was so good. And then what's neat is that it actually has an end game bonus too, which is really cool. You know how like at the end of a regular pinball game, you'll have like the little extra round bonus. Mm-hmm. It kind of does that with this, but what you do is every time you light up a feature, whether it's the BB gun or the lamp or the bully, whenever you complete those, you mark it off on the scoreboard, and it gives you either 1 or 2 targets.
Okay.
At the end of the game, when you're knocked out or you're the last player, you roll the dice, and if the number of targets that you have, if the roll is less than or equal to the number of targets you have, you get 25 bonus points. Right.
That's pretty cool.
So that's like super little fun. But if you happen to get all 8 features, every one of them, you score the 25 bonus points and then clear the board, and then you're gonna potentially do it again. It's super cool. I like the mess out of it. I had a lot of fun. My only complaint, and here's my only complaint so far. I haven't played the other 2 boards, but Christmas Story was great. My only complaint with this was that the dice are holiday themed. They're white, and they have either red or green pips.
Oh, no.
Now, it doesn't matter in the game.
Yeah.
And you can see them just fine, but I'm assuming Christmas Vacation and Elf doesn't make you delineate between the 2. But thank goodness. Yeah, that would
You're
be brutal.
hoping anyways.
I'm hoping. I don't know that for sure. And if that's the case, then I'm just going to go get a red and a green, like, bright die.
Yeah.
And figure it out. But, it was awesome. And it's only
Sounds
like $20
cool.
because it only has 3 of the 4 boards that come in the other versions. Okay. So now I will need to get the Star Trek one and any other one that comes out because, yes.
Cool. I do want to try this one a lot. I did like original Super Pinball Skillcade, whatever it's called. I did like the original one. I do want to try the Star Trek version. And I do want to try the Christmas Story. And Illuminous was saying he got himself a set of Power 9 and going to hang it on his wall on a picture frame. But I'm not familiar with Power 9.
Power 9 sounds like... Is that the Magic? Like the Power 9? The 9 like mega like super
Magic
powerful
the Gathering. There you go.
Okay. I knew it.
I wasn't a Magic player.
Wait, did you get the actual cards? Or because I think a Power 9 it's like the Moxes, all 5 of the Moxes.
You're talking to me like I know what it
Black
is.
Lotus.
The only one I know is Black Lotus because how much it's sold for.
Right, exactly. Like the Power 9 are like the mega cards. The Moxes, okay. I don't think I'm wrong on that then, yeah. And I think there's a couple others that have to do with that. I mean, obviously there's 9, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a couple more.
The real cards.
Whoa. Dude, hold on. Because even like one Mox is a couple hundred at least. Yeah. Dang, Illuminate. Yeah, I would hang that on the wall behind bulletproof glass. Because holy cow. Bravo. Merry Christmas to you.
So moving on to our next game. But wow. Speaking of Christmas, this one I specifically wanted to play because you and me both love trick-taking games. I did use the Tiny Tim variant in this game for it because our friend is not... He just can't grok trick-taking that way.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, we'll do the Tiny Tim. We'll take away the bidding, because that's the main way you're supposed to play it. You're supposed to bid on how many tricks you think you're going to take in a hand or whatever. And so we played it, and this one's called The Ghost of Christmas. And honestly, I liked what it did, because you're playing 3 cards, the entire, like, tricks. Right. You're trying to win so many tricks, or if you're playing the Tiny Tim variant, you're trying to shoot the moon and not get any tricks. And I just kind of stumbled upon it in the first round, because we were... I thought it was a typo, in all honesty, because when you go to the bidding one, it's telling you how to score here. When you go into the Tiny Tim, it's like, no, if you don't take any tricks, you get 6 points. But if you take 6+ tricks, you don't get any points. I was like confused on that. Yeah. And then our friend said, no, that's shooting the moon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's right. Okay. And so I ended up not taking any tricks that round. And it just happened to play that way because I was actually trying to win tricks. So I was trying to play because... The way it works, it's 4 suits. The first person that plays in an area is setting the suit, and everybody else has to play in that suit. However, the suit doesn't score unless you're the first player. So if someone couldn't play in suit, say in present, and they won the past, then their suit is what's going to score. And say they played like candles. Right. And so you have to play the highest of candles to score. And if he's the only one there, he's going to win. However, hearts trumps everything. So if you play a heart suit, whoever plays the highest in the heart suits wins the trick. Yeah. And you're playing 3 tricks per round, and 3 tricks per hand, 12 cards in total for a round. And you play in 4 rounds. And so we were just messing around. We were like, oh, I get this, and oh, I get this. And our friend was like, thank you for not doing the bidding, because I don't know how this would work. But I liked what it was doing. I love the Tiny Tim variant just for that aspect. I like the fact that you can set... whoever plays first sets what cards have to be played in the set unless you can't. Then you can play any cards. You can play a heart to set up the trump, or you can set up, like, hey, candles. And force yourself to win the past, because the way it works is whoever wins the past becomes a new first player marker, which leads the scoring suits for the present. Whoever wins that sets it for the future, and whoever wins that will set it for the next round. They could set one of the suits. And I really liked how that worked. It took a little while to figure everything out, but once we did, I'm like, okay, I get what this is doing. I like what this is doing.
The ability to play in 3 different areas, like you're playing 3 different tricks at the same time. Yeah. That was one of my favorite parts about this game, is when when I discovered that moment where you led with, like, I think a blue in the past. Mm-hmm. I was like, I have a red in my hand. I'd really like to take this trick, but I have a blue in my hand. Wait a minute. And then I had 1 blue left.
And you specifically asked me, in the present, I don't have to play the blue there. I can play it anywhere else. I'm like, if it's open.
Yeah, because if you create a situation where then when you eventually have to play in the past, that you no longer have the blue, which is what I did, then you can play off suit any other trick taking. So there was multiple times where I was like, I want to dump these cards even though you already played that suit, so I can throw in like hearts at the same time. That was neat.
I really enjoyed this one. Sometimes trick takings...
play this again.
Yeah, trick takings are to really good or really bad, depending on how you like them. This one is up there for me. And I don't even have to play with the bidding, because I know a lot of people don't like bidding trick-taking games, and I haven't played a bidding trick-taking game in years. Right. I don't think it's been... I think it's been 20 years or so, because when I was a teenager...
I need to fix that.
Because you've been telling me about, what, pickle?
Pepper.
And so I do want to try it again. I haven't tried it, like I said, in years. However, I do like it just with the Tiny Tim variant, where it's basically just a solid trick-taking game on its own. But yeah, that's Ghost of Christmas. I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I have a good Christmas game that I can bust out.
Yes.
Especially since one of my gaming groups likes to play trick-taking a lot. You enjoy trick-taking. And our mutual friend, Dom, is a big fan of trick-taking as well.
Oh, you can tell he grew up on trick-taking.
Yeah.
He adores that.
Yeah, he got right onto it. He's like, boom, boom, boom. It's still not my favorite trick-taking game out of the ones we have. I think Little Devils is my favorite right now because it's just so fun. Because then you're trying to force feed certain tricks to people because it's like, here, take this one that has 5 devils on it. I'm done.
Yeah, right? It's like, I already know. I widgeted it in there. Yeah.
But Ghost of Christmas, phenomenal.
So I just picked up Cat in the Box, which is a very strange...
I want to play that one.
I finally knew it looked cool. I was like, okay, it's a neat take on trick-taking.
But cats.
I never looked too much into it because of cats. But then I watched the How to Play video today. Oh my goodness. It is the most groundbreaking trick-taking game I've ever seen in my life. Like this does...
And that's saying something because Crew everybody thought was the groundbreaking one.
Right, no, this add all the groundbreaking from Crew plus Christmas.
Yeah.
What is it called? The
Ghost of Christmas.
Yeah. Combine that to do and ramp it to 11 because that's what Cat in the Box does. You're going to watch it and you're going to see what it does and you're like, whoa.
No,
it'll blow your mind.
I really want to try that one. I once I found out about it, and then I was watching the Dice Tower talking about it, and I'm like, I need to play that. Yep. I don't have a problem with cats. I'm fine with a cat theme.
Right. No. You know my thoughts on it. Like here's my reasoning. I accepted this one because it's less about cats. It's less about cats, and it's about the quantum idea of Schrodinger's
the cat in the box. Yeah,
right. It's about Schrodinger's cat.
I like that. Yeah, so that's another thing I like.
It has nothing to do with cats per se. It's just that was the animal that they chose when Schrodinger was explaining it.
Yeah.
And I only own one cat game before that, and that was Here Kitty Kitty, which is amazing, by the way. Friends at Fireside Games, awesome game. It absolutely justifies it because it makes sense. You're a crazy cat lady luring cats onto your yard, right?
Yeah.
So, speaking of cat games, this is now the second cat game that's proudly in my collection.
Nice.
Is the next one I played.
And Illuminous, I get it. Like, a lot of people who played trick-taking when they were younger, like, I knew people who played Rook a lot.
Yes.
They don't like trick-taking anymore because they played it so much.
Highly recommend you try Ghost of Christmas Past or Little Devils.
No, Ghost of Christmas.
Ghost of Christmas, yeah.
Because you're playing it past, present, and future.
Or Little Devils. Little Devils does a lot different.
On a slight tangent, I did finally do something that I've always wanted to do.
Which is?
I read A Christmas Carol on Christmas.
Oh, nice.
The wife actually got me a hardback copy.
Yeah.
And it's like 106 pages, so it's not very long.
No.
I read half of it in the morning, and then when she went to bed at 10, I read the last half of it, and I finished it at like 11:30.
Are you going to be the kind of person, like if you eventually have kids, are you going to be reading like the what is that Christmas story? The Threw Up the Sash and like talking about Santa arriving.
Yeah, Probably, maybe. I'd read that
I feel
story.
like you would be like the kind of guy who would just sit down and was like, all right.
Hey, I played Santa one year for the hospital, so...
Right. Oh, you'd pull it better off than I do. That's for sure.
So, I know it is... Can you grab it right there? It's right behind you.
Which one?
Ghost of Christmas. It is a... I know it is a Japanese designer. It's made by Board Game Tables or All Play Now.
It's not hard to find now.
It's designed by Taiki Shinzawa.
Yeah.
So, it is Japanese... and I think they just put a Ghost of Christmas theme on it.
Yes.
The Christmas Carol theme on it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed it a lot.
So, the next game I've been playing, back to my tangent, is a cat game.
Really?
I played Boop.
Oh, okay.
From Smirk and Dagger.
Smirk
and Laughter.
We actually watched them showing us how it works in
at Gamma. Mm-hmm. And I told Kurt, the owner of Smirk and Laughter and Smirk and Dagger, Kurt Covert, awesome guy,
great guy.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, I don't want to admit it, but this might be the second game that I've ever owned that has Katsu.
Okay,
and because it's from the same creator as Shobu.
Pause it real quick. Both cat games that you own and is in your collection are from people you adore.
Yes, yeah. Justin DeWitt and Anne-Marie DeWitt from Fireside and Kurt Covert from Smirk and Dagger. Yes, they are some of the best people in gaming, hands down. Give them a major shout out because they're awesome.
They're great people.
And so I played Boop with my daughter because my daughter was like, cats? Yeah. And it's from the guy who made Shobu, which I love Shobu. I like it a lot. I know you don't care for it.
I don't care much for it, but it's because I'm not an abstract guy.
Right. This one, it's real simple. You have a 6x6 space grid that's made out of... It's a quilt.
Yeah.
And it's literally like a foam quilt that like
and
the spaces
box,
work.
Right?
And you put the back of the box upside down, which looks like the edges of a bed, and you put it on top. And so it's just a bed, right? On your turn, you take one of your cat tokens, whether it's a cat, a full adult cat, known as a cat, or a kitten, which is the one that's all hyper and bouncing around.
Yep.
You take any one of those tokens, and you set it down. You start with just kittens, 8 of them.
Yep.
Anytime you place down a kitten, every kitten that's adjacent to it, including diagonal, jumps one space away. Because you're trying to get 3 of your kittens in a row to upgrade them to cats, to make them to.
And then the goal is get the kittens to make cats, 3 cats in a row to win. Right?
Yes, exactly. So once you get 3 adult cats in a row, it wins. Now that action of setting down your cat and bouncing others away, it's called booping them. Okay, and the instructions say at that point either meow or say boop. I refuse to meow. I did definitely say boop a lot. It was just funny. It was boop, boop. You see them.
Betty,
if they jump off the edge, they jump off the bed, and that's just how it is. You can set up cool like it doesn't combo if there's 2 in a row. They don't bounce, So there's a lot of cool ways to manipulate it. But one of the funniest parts of the rule book, which set it apart, it said when you graduate any kittens to cats, you remove the kitten pieces from the game because you're only going to have 8 pieces.
Yeah.
And it says we suggest put them in the box. Kittens like being in boxes. It just makes the perfect sense all of a sudden. Now you immediately know the rules. Boop is a brilliant game. I
still gotta try it. I liked how it looked.
Great components.
Gamma.
Yep.
Again, it's just I'm not an abstract guy.
Right.
I am the first to admit it. I've tried. I tried Shobu.
Right.
It's a fine game. It's just not something up my style.
What I think sets it apart from abstracts, because abstract, like, there's no theme. It's hard to get into it, right?
Yeah.
Like, Shobu doesn't make sense. The idea of you imagining a kitten jump into the middle of the bed and all the cats like freaking out and jumping away
makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense, and functionally it makes perfect sense. That Time You Killed Me is really good. So, I have it and I own it. I like it a lot. It's really a smart game.
What I find funny about this, out of our game groups, all of us are fine with cats, but 2 of us are allergic, and the other one just likes dogs more. I do not like cats. You own the most cats?
And the most cat games.
Probably,
yeah.
Yeah. Because I think the only one I could think of that our friend has is Isle of Cats.
You like what?
No, our friend has Isle of Cats. I don't mind cats. I'm allergic to them. That's the only reason I can't own them.
I only own 3 cat games. Here Kitty Kitty. I don't even own Exploding Kittens. But I have Here Kitty Kitty, Cat in the Box now, and Boop. And Boop is really good, and it's staying in my collection.
You own 2 cats.
Yes. Yeah. Which, by the way, one of our cats, he was on the ottoman while me and my daughter were playing, just eyeing those pieces like, I'm going to get you pieces. I'm going to get you. And we're like, oh, you best not. Oh, you best not mess up Mark.
That cat is adorable, though.
That cat's funny.
Yeah.
When he's calm, he's a really good cat. Yeah.
Your wife posts photos, and he's a cuddler.
Yes, he is.
I was noticing like some of the photos that she has, and he's a cuddler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is both good and bad for me because I like cuddly cats, but also I start sneezing really bad.
I can appreciate my argument against cats is why own an animal that doesn't care about you? Like, dogs will, yes, they probably show you overly affectionate, right? But like our other cat, it only wants us to feed it, and it's like it does 2 things: eat and hate. That's the only 2 things it does, right? And so what's the point of having this animal that you have to feed for 15 years, and it's not going to love you, it doesn't care about you, it's waiting for you to die to feast on your flesh. That's what it's doing. What's the point, right? I mean, even guinea pigs and like rodents can show affection. They squeak and they get excited to see you. No, this cat does not. It just glares at you and says, "Well, you feeding me yet?"
So send your hate mail to everydayboardgames2020 at gmail.com and I'll forward it to him.
Yes, that's fine. Send it my way. Yeah, the vast majority of cats are just evil, demonic creatures.
Honestly, I've never had a mean cat.
You want one? No. I will give you the first one that lives in our house.
I can't have cats. My parents had cats.
Shave it. I don't mind. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Shaving doesn't do it's the dander.
Yeah, I know.
So it doesn't do me any good.
Stick it, cover it in tape. Put a body pillow in around it. I don't care.
So, moving on. Great game. I'm moving on to my next game that I played. So, Ghost of Christmas Past, this next game, and my last game were all from our game nights last week.
Yes.
This one is probably my least favorite of the three, and I still really, really enjoyed it. And this one is Euphoria.
Yep.
Build a Better Dystopia is its full name. By Stonemaier Games. It's one of Jamie Stegmaier's first two games. I actually really enjoyed it. You kept saying, you know what, it's a fine game, but I don't like it. And then you...
I never said I didn't like it. I said out of most Stonemaiers, it's one of my least favorite. And I do remember my first play. Stonemaiers are really climbing for me, but it's still one of my least favorite, but slightly less so.
Yeah, no, I
liked it. It was fine.
I really enjoyed it. I had a great time playing it. It's a fine game. I love... back to React.
Okay.
So
I heard React. Sounds cool.
What I would like about it, I like worker placement. I like dice placement games because they give you that worker placement. For sure. What I liked about it is that if your characters got too smart, they ran away from you.
Right.
And so I like the aspect of it, and I like the fact that there's no points. It's the first person to get all 10 stars out there based on... Oh, you can't get this, you can't do this, you can't, putting in a monuments, put it on areas, put it on, your personal goal card, or, get some more recruits. Who's ever going to do that? I'm always going to put my star out there, because it's hard to get these stars out there.
Right, exactly.
Getting your resources, paying your costs to make sure you get all your things back, or else you have to move down on a track.
Yeah.
I love a lot of the choices in this game. I love... My one complaint is the colors. The dice are fine to an extent, but it just because someone was playing red and someone was playing green. At least they were slightly different, so I could tell the difference. But even then, it's like, where's my yellow? Oh, that's right, because they're a faction. Right. I had to play orange, and that I struggle with orange sometimes. And so, but yeah, all in all, I did enjoy this game a lot. I like worker placement. I like dice placement games. And this one really hit to the point where it's staying in my collection. Mind you, I collect the Stonemaier games.
Yeah, that's not a high bar to reach.
No.
It would have to be quite a dud for you not to
that's
get
the
rid
thing.
of the Stonemaier.
I'm not a huge fan of Pendulum because I've only played the solo aspect of it. Mm-hmm. But it's going to stay in my collection. I do like what it's doing. I just wish I liked it more.
Yeah, and I bet once we play the real-time version of it, I bet you'll like it.
Well, I had to play the real-time version. That's the only way you can play the solos in the real-time.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Cool. The next game I want to talk about was a simple little dice game, but a great production. It's from a company called Trick or Treat Games. And this is called Zombie Mania. Oh. I bought it recently. It's a Reiner Knizia dice game. And
which is interesting because I was looking and picking up the Creature Comforts or...
Creature Feature.
Creature Feature. Yes. I was so tempted.
I was honestly about to do that too. Because I really like what they're doing. And
I love Trick or Treat Studios, what they're doing. I haven't played any of their games.
Right. No, so Zombie Mania was an older game, and I think Creature Feature might have been.
Yeah, it's an older one. It's one of his more. It's his bluffing game back from the 90s. I think.
Exactly.
They're reprinting.
Exactly. So they're taking these old properties, remaking them, and especially making them Halloween themed or monster, themed. Mm-hmm. And I saw an interview with one of the main guys, and they asked a legitimately fair question. They said, "Are you worried about people only playing this during Halloween, and that's the only time they want these games?" And he brought up a good point. He said that it was like, well, oftentimes it's not quite like say Christmas games, for example. Yeah. There's a time and a place to play Christmas games. That's Christmas. It's I feel like there's enough people who are in the Halloween spirit or is totally fine with a horror game any time of the year that we're not worried about it.
Honestly,
and I was like,
it's Richard Garfield, and he's correct. It's Richard Garfield. I believe Creature Feature is Knizia.
No, Creature Feature is
Garfield. The other one is...
This one's Knizia. So the way this game works, Zombie Mania, everyone has their board, which is a great, good-sized board, about yay big. completely not necessary.
Didn't you just pick this up and you already played it? I
literally bought it like 2 days ago, and I played it today.
You bought it yesterday.
I bought it yesterday and played it today. Yes.
Because I remember it was at the sale. I saw it. I thought about it.
Yes. Because, I mean, it was like $30 normally. And it's heavy. Each of these, there's 40 zombie tokens that are about that big, about 1.5 inches tall, and a big, like half a pound each. Like, I swear, like the bag of zombies is like this big, chunky, heavy, baked like plastic. Good quality dice. And 5 or 6 boards.
See, I'm good with
you like your
horror
monsters.
every year, all year.
So the dice faces that are on it, there's blue zombies, green zombies, which just have a single zombie each, brown zombies, which have 2 zombies pictured on it.
Is this the one you said you were going to talk about the colors?
No.
Okay.
That was the holiday special.
Okay.
Game, the red and green.
Okay.
No, this one, the colors are bright enough where it's pretty obvious, and there's different pictures anyway.
Nice.
So it's totally colorblind friendly. But then you also have houses, graveyards, and ×2 symbols.
Okay.
So you have 8 dice, you chuck them all, right? You have to set aside at least 1 zombie die, either the double or a blue and a green one, or a green one. You have to set aside at least 1 of those dice on your turn. Otherwise, if you roll and there's no zombie dice, then you bust. And so it's a kind of a press your luck. But then you can set aside any number of other dice you want.
Okay.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get rid of your zombies. You only get to take an action for any of the symbols if you have a pair of them. So in order for me to get rid of the zombies, I have to throw them into the graveyard. Well, I need 2 graveyard dice to do it. Mm-hmm. So in order for me to get rid of 1 zombie, I need 2 of the same zombies. So 2 blue or 2 green. Or if I have the pair, the brown ones, 2 brown ones, I get rid of 2 zombies.
Okay.
But if I get the graveyard, and then I also get a pair of houses, instead of the graveyard, I could throw it on somebody else's house and have them deal with it. So it's an extra little plus, but it's fewer zombies that I can get rid of. But it curbs the other players too. But there's also a ×2, which if I get a pair of ×2, that doubles the amount of zombies I can deal with. So you have these cool little combinations where you're like, okay, in order for me to send it to somebody else, I have to definitely roll the graveyards plus 2 house dice, and I still have to roll a zombie every turn.
Yep.
Hopefully getting these pairs matched up. But then if I want to roll a ×2, that gets rid of a lot more dice, but then that's 2 fewer dice that I can get zombies on. It's nuanced, but it has a lot more going for it than it seems. Like, it sounds like it's like really clunky, and you're setting aside like 2 or 3 dice per turn. Totally fine.
Yeah.
But the pages, it's literally a page of rule books front and back, and most of it's just example. And it's incredibly simple. Good quality pieces. Great family game.
Yeah.
I played with my kids. They ended up, like, begrudgingly. I was like, hey, kids, since you're not cleaning the house, come on over and you're playing a game with me. And they're like, oh, but we want to play a video game. Like, no, come on. You play dice games with me, because otherwise mommy's going to make you clean. So, come on. Here's your chance. And they're like, fine. And then we played it, and, yeah, they liked it a lot. I had fun. Really good. I'll bring it over for next Halloween. If not sooner.
I'm fine if you bring it over before then. Because one of my goals, not goals per se, but what I want to do now is not worry about my shelf of shame, but more so actually want to play some of the games that I have on my shelf that just been sitting there. I want to play the actual
spoilers
games.
for the few episodes.
Honestly, I don't know if I'll put that as one of my resolutions for next year.
Right.
But we'll see.
Get back into playing the stuff that we like.
Yeah. So, like, play another game of Return to Dark Tower or
Absolutely.
Another game of Dark Side Rising, because
yeah.
I haven't played that since the pandemic, because I used to play it online, because a friend had a copy and we had a copy, and one person would just run the game, we would just roll what dice we had.
Makes sense. Cool.
Alright, so moving on to my last game, and this was my favorite of the night, by far. And mind you, when we played it, we were also, it was like at the end of the night, I think it was 10 o'clock, but all of us were still itching to play more games.
Yes.
The 3 of us. One had to leave. And so I'm
Boy, did he miss out.
yeah. And then our friend's like, I know that one, and it's Libertalia. He's like, I know that one. I could teach you guys. And both you were like, okay, yeah, I've been wanting to try that one. Not realizing who was actually the designer of this until I told you.
Paolo
Paolo Mori, as he was explaining some of the stuff, and he was showing the example, it said Paolo, and I'm like, yeah, that's Paolo Mori. He's like, oh, I'm more interested now.
Yeah. Because I've played a few of his before,
yeah.
but Ethnos, I like Rise of Augustus a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple others I think I've played of his.
But when we played this one, it just It was so fun.
Insane.
It was just like boom, 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 boom. All right, collect all these. I'm gonna kill your guy. He's off the island. He's gone. You can't use him. He's not on your ship.
Yep.
Oh my god, it was fun. It played quickly. Once we started going, we played all 4 rounds. Yeah, no, 3 trips. And
3
it's,
trips.
1, 2, 3 nights, 4 nights.
4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, it's 4, 5, and 6. 4 nights for the first night, 5 for the night, and 6. It was so fun putting it out there, and you're trying to because everybody has the same cards. One person is running the decks, and it's like, okay, these are the numbers, and it's like, which one's he going to play? Was he going to do this, or is he going to do this? And then you're looking at the loot that's in the area, and you're like, oh, I don't want that one because it's bad. So, okay, I know he's played this and this already, so I'm going to do this way I don't get that purple one.
Yep.
And so it got to the point, because I was forced to take a purple one, you beat me.
Yep.
Because our mutual friend, I think he got last. You beat me by 2 points. It was 102 to 100, and it's because I got one of those purple ones was -3, which dropped me from 103 to 100.
Yeah,
it was so good. I love games when it's that tight, and it's so quick. We played it, and once we got it going, we played it 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah,
because we were done about 11. Yeah.
Yeah, we were actively engaged the whole time.
The whole time.
It was
talking,
fantastic.
Joking, playing. I think I had the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack on the background. But it was phenomenal. I think that hands down, this is up there on one of my favorite Stonemaier games.
This is my second favorite.
So I don't know if it's my second favorite because
I hands down second favorite.
It's probably my third, behind Viticulture and Wingspan.
Yep, mine. It's only behind Charterstone. It now bumped out Tapestry.
Nice.
And I like Tapestry a lot, but as soon as I even told you that as soon as we were done, I was like,
second favorite.
Love it. This is awesome. I want to buy it now. It was so good. I can't recommend it enough. And Stonemaier games, I tend to generally like his stuff.
Yeah,
I do. But I'm not like Euphoria. It's like, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Scythe, I was like, I like it. It's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't need to own it or anything like that. When I played Libertalia.
You wanted it.
Wow.
You're like, this is going to be my 4th Stonemaier game I'm going to own.
Yes. This is the next one I buy. Because I played just about everything in the collection.
Yeah, I own everything in the collection. I don't know where my Rolling Rails copy is. I think it's somewhere over there.
Yeah, it's somewhere. Yeah.
I had to move it because I ran out of space. All my Stonemaier games is this second shelf on that corner there, all the way up to my roof.
Right.
So something had to move. In fact, the Tapestry expansion had to move over on this side.
Oh, okay.
Because I can't fit it all in the box.
So, this last game that I want to talk about is a game that I think you would appreciate the theme. It is a solo-only game, which I've been playing more of. This is called Coffee Roaster.
Yeah, I saw that. I want to play this one.
Yeah, I should have brought that over then instead of
this. That is one I've been hunting for a while.
A friend of mine got it for me as a Christmas gift, and so I've had it for about a week now. And last night I played it for the first time. I sat down in bed. I was like, I'll just figure it out real quick. Absolutely destroyed it. I did just awful. Just really awful.
I would have made
just the worst. I hate.
You
coffee.
don't like the theme.
No,
you don't like coffee.
I know. It was so. I watched a video on how to play it. Which, by the way,
as I'm drinking coffee,
there is. I want to give a shout out to this YouTuber real quick because I know I'm tangenting, but this is, other than Rodney Smith's game, or his instructions, this was one of the best instructional videos I had seen for a long time. The Dicey Review.
I've seen some of his stuff. He's pretty good.
I want to give that. I'd never seen his stuff before that, but he made it so easy to learn how to play it, and that was by far the best how to play video.
Cool.
That I've seen in a long time. But anyway,
outside Rodney Smith.
Outside of Rodney Smith, of course, he's the hierarchy.
Okay. There's another one that I kind of watch for the bigger games.
Yeah.
I think it's John Gets Games or something.
Yeah. John Gets Games. He does a really good job too, but I didn't see one of his. Otherwise, he would have been my go-to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so Coffee Roaster. The way it works is you have a few rounds where you are going to be roasting your coffee beans. They start off either being a number from, I don't know what the term is, but soft bean or whatever. It's basically before a 0. It doesn't count as a bean yet. Mm-hmm. But then it becomes a 0, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if it goes past 4, it's a burnt bean because it's too roasted, right? And you're trying to aim, depending on the scenario, there's 22 scenarios or something. Basically, it's different flavors of bean or coffee that you're trying to go for.
Okay.
And you're trying to go for a certain level of perfect, like cooked, like perfectly roasted, which I think is like about 14. So it's a pool builder, and what you pull out at the beginning of the round, it's anywhere from like 6 to 14 beans or chips that you bring out. And certain ones will give you actions, like different flavors will give you different actions, where you could either like preserve one, split a bean, or combine two together, or just preserve them and put them back in the bag so they don't get roasted this round. Yes, there is. It's a lot of chips in it, like yeah, chips.
Yeah, you heard chips.
They're tokens. Yeah, chips tokens. That's how they refer.
Teas.
No, it's chips.
Oh,
they refer to them as chip with a P.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so they're different chips, and so you're getting these, and at the end of the turn, all of the ones that you have in front of you are going to roast and move up one level more roasted, right, to the next number. However, during certain rounds, there's very important rounds that'll add smoke to the roast, and they'll jump up by 2, and that gets scary because if you have a 3 or a 4 at that point. Yeah. Those are going to get burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are worth negative points at the end of it. So I missed one very critical rule last night when I played it for the first time. And so they have this little chart where you can keep track of how roasted your beans are. And like, so when, let's say I roast 5 zeros into ones, I mark it up 5, and so you can get a good judge of like when is the best time to do the tasting, right? Because if you're aiming for 14, maybe like 24, 25, something like that, out of all the chips. Well, it goes up to 40. I ran out of room, and I was like, the second to last round, I was like, I've hit 40. I've hit the maximum that this chart goes. Like, I just have a pile of burnt beans and all this. Why am I doing so bad? And I had the example that it gave in the rule book. The example player got 12 points for that round.
Yeah.
I got 5. I counted that as a loss. So I was like, I don't know what the parameter is, but a 5 is not good. And then the rule that I missed was that you can end at the end of any round and then just do the tasting. Oh, okay. I pushed it to the very end where it required you to do the tasting. Oh. That was the problem. Having reread that rule, I was like, okay, I tried it again today. I got 14 points. I'm like, boom, got it. I count it as a win because now it suddenly made sense. It was good enough where I failed so spectacularly that I was like, man, I need to try that again just to see, like, I'm sure I'm missing something, but it seemed almost mundane at first, but I was like, something's broken. But then I realized it was what I understood, tried it again, did way better, and now it's multiple rounds of different like styles, different abilities that you have. It's a smart game. I was impressed by it.
I'm interested.
That was Coffee Roaster, my next solo game.
Quick question. Mm-hmm. Which is the dark roast? What is it?
Oh, the one that I had?
No, I'm saying like dark roast. Like when it comes to coffee, you have your light roast, your medium roast, and your dark roast. Do you know the difference between the three?
About 3 digits, yeah. The light roast is a 1 in this game, and a dark roast would be a 4. Yeah.
So the darker the roast of a bean, less acidity that it is of the coffee. So if you want a more bitter flavored coffee, then you go for a light roast. If you want like a normal coffee, medium.
That makes sense.
For like people who like a more mild taste, the darker the roast, the better for you.
Oh, really? Okay. I would logic would say, the lighter the roast, the less harsh the flavor.
Nope.
Because I appreciate a good char flavor. I can enjoy a really good char flavor. So that's strange. That's interesting.
Darker the roast makes it more mild because coffee beans are naturally bitter. Okay. And so when roasting them pulls the bitterness out of them.
So you're saying I should light them all on fire, wait till they're charcoal,
and then
put them in some water,
then you'll probably like it,
and I'll love it. I mean, I'm drinking dirt water as it is,
Yeah, so I'm actually drinking bean water. I'm actually drinking coffee.
Yep. No, but the coffee roaster, it was cool. I was interested by how it worked because I've been getting into solo gaming more, and I was impressed.
What's interesting about it when it comes to the coffee for me, as I've gotten older, I drink more darker roasts just because the less acidity is really good for my GERD. So I could still drink coffee without getting like really bad acid reflux.
That's right. All right. shall we get into the main part of our episode? Because we went on a tangent. We appreciate everybody who has listened this far. Let's talk about the actual topic today. We're going to review our
2022 gaming goals.
That's right. So we have our list right here of our gaming goals that we made last year, almost exactly at this time. It was like roughly December 29th, I believe, was when that episode released. So we made a bunch of goals, 8 each.
8 each.
For the year, and we're going to talk about whether we met them or not, and
how's it going,
explain why we didn't.
And Dice Truck was just letting us know he got 2 games for Christmas that can be played solo. Final Girl, amazing game.
Good choice.
Tiny Epic Dungeons. Haven't played it yet. It's on that shelf of shame over there.
That's right.
Hallucinations.
Greeting and hallucinations. Yeah. Welcome, Dice Truck. All right. So here we go. Shall we begin?
Well, let's do it.
As always, I have my coin of doom. Not that this is a debate or anything.
Yeah.
But this is just so we have a rhyme and reason of who's talking. I'll talk first. My first one that I want to talk about. My number 8 is I wanted to reorganize my game room. Which, shush it. Because let's talk about why I technically have not completed this yet. And I say technically because I have reorganized it by adding more games and not organizing them accordingly. It is a different organization than it was before, as in way worse. So, actually, my reasoning is I know one of the big things I wanted to do was not only just reorganize them, but get new shelving.
Mm-hmm.
I have since got some new shelving, not as much as I need for it to justify it, because I still need about 10 more shelves, but I have gotten 2 more, and I have gotten a lot of games off of the floor, which is already a plus. So I have reorganized it to a bit, but as an overall whole, I'm not even close to what I was planning on doing.
You did get new shelves this way; they don't collapse on you.
That's what I'm saying. Those 2 new shelves that I got hold a lot of games, and they should be a lot more stable.
They're kind of like the ones behind us right now. I went
too soon, yeah. And then Dice Chuck, if that's your first Tiny Epic, all of them play very differently. They are
formulaic, but they are different.
But they are quite a bit different. I haven't played Dungeons
if you
yet.
Notice on the Shelf of Shame, right over here on the Tsukiyumi, at the very top, there's like these little boxes sitting up there. That's my Tiny Epic Dungeons.
Yeah. I own all of the dice, or all of the Tiny Epics. I have 3 of them I still need to get off the Shelf of Shame.
I own Tiny Epic Dungeons, and I own Tiny Epic Quest. Those are the 2 I own with Tiny Epics. The rest of them, they won't get played in my house. At least the Tiny Epic Dungeons I can play solo. Same with Quest.
I'm surprised Galaxies doesn't get played.
Oh, my wife just doesn't like the Tiny Epic. She doesn't like the fact that they're tiny.
Yeah, but like that one doesn't feel like it's purposefully tiny. It's just a dice and card game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So same for me. I am a sucker for a dungeon crawl. My first resolution here was actually a success for me. And this is the one I kind of do every year. I don't know how I'm going to change it up for the next year. And it's just hit 100 new games to me.
Yeah.
Or specifically my app as well. If it hasn't been triggered in the app, I count it. But this one, I call this a success. A highly good success. As of date, we're December 27th. I have played 153 new games to me.
Yep.
And I stopped keep track after 150. I just looked at my stats on the insights and it tells you how many new to you.
Uh-huh.
And it was 153. Last week was just 3 new games. I hit it the week before when we played Marco Polo. So yeah. I am quite happy. In fact, I hit my 100 goal by September. So I was like, okay, it took me 8 months to do this. Let's half it out. I have 4 more months. Let me add another 50 to my challenge.
Yep.
My goal was 100. I bumped it to 150 because I hit. So for me, personally, that was a great success, and I'm happy about that.
Yep. Very good. Number 7. I'll start us off again. My number 7 just flat out did not. My goal is to reduce my collection. I am still aiming to do that here in the next couple months, and I have been talking about it definitely more seriously, but I have increased by about 20%.
What's funny is he showed us a thing on Board Game Geek where it'll look at there's a website you can go to that can look at your statistics, because he always said he didn't have over 1,000 games, and we were saying he has over 1,000 games. How much was it?
About 1,200 now.
Yeah, 1,200.
But now, see, no thanks to Buttons to my games for signing up for the board game of the month. That doesn't help.
And not just that. It's 1,200 games. That's not including all the expansions. That bumped you over almost 1,300.
No, more than that.
Yeah.
More than that, yeah.
And what's even funnier about it, he's owned at one point 1,500 games, almost 1,600 games.
Yeah.
Because it told you, like...
No. Yeah, it's a lot. And I need to bring it down, and I do plan on bringing it down. I need... You know what? You need to come over, and you need to be like, one, is this a game that you're going to play with your other group?
So
two, if it's a game that only our group is going to play, I need you to be the bad guy here. I need you to help me out.
What is that lady on Netflix, Mary Kondo or something like that? Does this give you joy?
Does this bring you joy right now? Would you play it right now? Like, yeah. Like, no, then it's gotta go.
Yeah,
like,
I come to the realization, like, just base games alone, because of that site, I have 284 games in my collection. Yes. With expansions, it bumps it over, like, 320, 340, something like that.
Right.
But, yeah, our three, there's 4 people in our game group. Yes. The 3 of us combined don't even touch his.
Right.
We're close.
And I have reasons, right? You know, I get demos, I get ones that I can show off whenever I show them off.
No, you're just a hoarder.
You're just a hoarder. Yeah, no, this is just flat out. I didn't even come close. But again, I am very serious about, and I've been in talks the past few weeks, and you've heard my talks. I'm like,
we've been talking about it.
Do you think I could even drop a third of what I got, and like pitch it? And you said no, because then we won't have enough room when we trade in games.
For the rest of us, yeah.
Right.
Because I mean, normally when we go do our trade in, you have like 8 bags of games, and we could barely fit in the. And it's a big SUV. You even nicknamed it Big Bertha.
Big Bertha, yeah.
So going on to my number 7, I actually had to deal with the podcast, and this one is to get better at editing and just do stuff to the podcast, and I call it a success-ish. It's kind of a 50-50 because I did get better at editing. I do still need to work on like transitions and putting better titles and screens and thumbnails, but I didn't work on thumbnails. Mind you, I was working a full-time job, so I really couldn't train on that till like the latter half of the year. And then we didn't change the logo because neither one of us really wanted to work on that for the time being.
Right.
I am in talks with a friend of mine that she might change it for us and work with it because she has this thing for her business where they need their logo that she could probably set it up for us to do through there. Because I didn't want to pay, I forget what the company was. I didn't want to pay them the money to help set up that logo.
Right. Too much money.
It is getting better. My editing is getting better. In fact, our recording is getting better, so it takes for me to have less editing processing. So I was like, okay, I don't have to take this out. I don't have to do this. Our recording's getting better. Our sound's getting better. Yeah. We're still working and triggering it, but it's getting there. So that's why I said success-ish.
Success-ish. Very good. All right, number 6 is... This happens every time with this coin. Mm-hmm. Is that it'll be me for the half, and then the other half will be you. Number 6. My goal was to get more interviews for the podcast. I just slacked and didn't do it.
Well, you did put some emails out though, but there was a couple.
But I wasn't.
You emailed Phil Walker Harding. He was just really busy at the time. He told us to try again later on.
And we forgot to email back, but we'll get you one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you one day. No, what I want to do is start getting other podcasters on here as well, and having them talk over different ideas. I would love to have another podcaster eventually be on here and do one of our top 8 debates with us.
Well, we had a TikToker.
We did. We had a TikToker, and we've had a few other people too. I mean, like we have other people that we want to bring on as well throughout the podcast. But this is just a matter of getting more people into it and talking them over with, which we will eventually do.
Eventually, yeah.
But I dropped the ball on that one. Number 6. Get more interviews. Didn't happen.
All right. So my number 6 here was get back to a con or convention. And I would call this a roaring success. Not only did we go to Gamma, and that was fun.
That's right.
It was a great time. We talked with people like Justin and her name's Anne-Marie. Her name was escaping me for some reason. I wanted to say Amy for some reason.
Which was the first time you met them.
Yeah, the first time I met them. I met Justin when we interviewed him on the...
Oh, yes. Thing. Yeah.
But the first time I met Anne-Marie, some of the sweetest people I've ever met before. Yeah. His wife tried to take care of me after I had a massive fall. And she kept checking on me throughout the rest of the con because she saw me limping. Because my ankle was already injured beforehand. I injured it at work. And so it was just weekend. I had to buy, when we were staying in Vegas that night, I had to stop by a CVS and just get an ankle brace. And even then, I fell down some stairs. Yep. So, but she is a sweetheart.
Stairs were not your favorite thing.
Justin was a great guy. Got to meet Kurt Covert personally. He's such a nice guy. Got to hang out with another one of the guys under contract with Thing 12. Got to meet the... no, John.
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 Yeah.
I got to meet the Shawns for Thing 12. Josh.
Wow. I apologize.
His brain's mine, but I got to meet the Shawns.
Right now.
They were great people. Just meeting. Got to talk with Keith Mateka.
Yep.
We had a great time playing games with Floodgates to the point where we're supposed to be doing like the speed dating thing.
Yep.
But we took like two times with that guy because he was just showing us the game and we were just talking and shooting for Floodgates. And it was amazing. I had a great time at Gamma. But that wasn't even the best part. We went to Tucson Con and RinCon and played some games there.
Yep.
So there's that, the actual board gaming convention. But the best for us personally, and you can actually go see it on our YouTube channel, we actually recorded a live podcast at a convention at YumaCon.
Yep.
They invited us to go there. You were running your escape room with your business partner, and they also asked us to do a panel, and we recorded a live top 8 debate at YumaCon. So that is a roaring success.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic. And so I'm just going to jump straight into my number 5 because mine was attend a convention, just because I had been jonesing to go back to Gamma from the year prior. You know, it'd been too long. And then all 3 of those same 3 conventions. I haven't attended Origins or Gen Con yet, but I've been to Origins years ago,
a couple years.
Not anytime recently. Yeah. And fantastic time, and I'm glad I did it.
And Gamma was great, like I said, and Yuma was just amazing.
And that was the first time you had experienced Gamma.
Yeah.
And it's totally different than other conventions. You had been to Dice Tower West.
But the main thing about that one is basically because it's for retailers. It's not like a normal convention for fans and stuff like that. So you got to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and that's what I like because we got game announcements. We got we were like one of the first people that heard about the Star Wars Villainous being released.
Yes, and not only on that, I remember when you and I went to the Asmodee keynote, and we were watching that, and they were, I guess, they were practicing, and we're just gonna sit down for a few minutes, wait for them to begin.
Yeah, because we were showing up to go there, and we wanted to get a table before it got...
Exactly. We're there like 30 minutes early, and they're flipping through their slides real quick to kind of practice a little bit, and then suddenly we saw unlocked, like, the board game meta ones, and we're like, wait, hold on.
Did we just see what we saw?
Was that a thing? Like, what's a yak? What's yak?
What is yak?
What is yak? What is it? Oh no!
And the reason why it was so easy for us is because where they were having that was on our floor, so we just had to go down a hallway and around, and we were on their floor. Yep. We didn't have to go down up an elevator and up some escalators and then show up.
That was convenient.
It was very convenient for us. So we were the first ones there, and then they were sitting there like, should we stop or should we just keep going? And both of us were like, you know what? Keep going, please.
Right, exactly. Now, real quick, let's just talk about, let's continue about this conversation. I'm so glad Dice Chuck and Luminous are
having a fun time in the chat.
Yeah, they're talking about co-op and solo games. Let's go through Falling Skies. I played the prototype of it, the print and play version. It was okay. It was kind of cool. A neat little puzzle. It does some neat things.
I do want to try
Robinson Crusoe. I have not played that one.
Haven't played that one. Nemo's War. Haven't played that.
I want to try Thunderbirds. Let's see here. Nemo's War. Yes, I really want to try that one as well. Spirit Island. Holy cow! I just got it for Christmas.
You fell in love with that one.
Oh my god!
You fell in love with the smaller one.
I fell in love with the Horizons of Spirit Island, and I really want to play Spirit Island really soon.
I played Vagrant Song. I really do enjoy it. I love the story that you're going through it. I only wish that it wasn't just campaign. They give you like scenarios.
Yeah. And then dice games. Yeah, I love dice games. Let's see here. Back to the Future Dice Through Time.
I think that's the Ravensburger one.
That's the Ravensburger one. That's
because
right.
Back to the Future Back in Time is the Funko one.
That's right. Dice Through Time or Back in Time. Yeah, those are... I own it. It's on my shelf of shame, which I'll be talking about soon. Your number 5.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where I'm at here. Mm-hmm. So my number 5 is finishing up this room and trying to make it better. And honestly, it's a fail. I haven't done any of the soundproofing that I wanted to do.
We have some panels.
We have some panels. I just haven't put them up on the wall. They kind of just protect the back of the mic.
They're quite literally resting against a mug right now.
Yeah. So it's just kind of there. I still do kind of want to work on this. I did put up a second screen for us, though, so that is a positive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We do have a second screen up over here, mounted on the wall here. I kind of wanted to put it over there, but then I realized my plumbing's behind that wall, so I don't want to mess with that.
Don't want to find that out.
So I'll go to the garage side. But all in all, I still consider it a fail. There's stuff I want to do. I have put some stuff on the wall, so it's not as bare. But honestly, I still need to work it. I need to put a new shelf back there. That's my plan, because I have some board games sitting in the corner over here that can't fit on shelves.
Yeah.
So there's things I want to do, and I consider this a fail because I didn't do any of those things other than putting a monitor.
Yep. Good deal. I mean, not a good deal, but yeah.
It happens.
Number 4.
Hey, it's me.
That's right. It's in the top half.
So I'm calling this next one a push because it is whittling down my shelf of shame. And I did. I whittled a lot of the games that were in my shelf of shame back then to where it's only 1.5 shelves now. However, the big thing is there's more games going on this shelf. I just put 1, 2, 3, 4 new games on the shelf of shame since last week when I took 3 games off the shelf of shame.
Yep.
So, yep. -1 net.
-1 net. There you go.
Oh, man. So, but I have been playing a lot of my shelf of shame. I have a couple that are sitting over here that are going to go into my sale pile to take to when we do our sale trip, our culling trip. So, yeah, I call it a push because I have taken a lot of games off the shelf to the point I've taken a half shelf. So I did whittle it down a little bit. But I haven't played all of them. In fact, I've put a lot of new ones like Snowtails, Godfather, Jurassic Park, Legacy. All that has gone on the shelf, haven't been played. I just put 4 new ones on the shelf that I got for Christmas.
Just the other day.
Literally, so between the Wednesday, our last game night when we did our Secret Santa, to yesterday, I got 6 games. 2 didn't go on my shelf. 4 did.
Yeah. Yep. That's how that works. My number 4, my goal was to complete another Legacy game, which
we were talking about this.
I have a caveat. I technically have. Technically. I have been playing Clank Legacy. Now, I'm going to say this as not spoiler as I can.
You did start one.
We started one, and we played it through. We're on the last game. There is something that happens in the game where we have to play this last scenario again. That's all I'm going to say about it. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want to give spoilers or anything.
Yeah.
But we have gotten to the end of this last scenario.
Okay.
And now, without having played it again, we have technically completed it. Now, I am going to try and redo to completion correctly, but I have almost, if with the exception of this one repeat game, we have completed the Legacy. So I'm going to count this as a success with an asterisk.
And then you're also talking about, like, there's a possibility that you can finish off another one of your games.
Right.
Is that one of your other future goals?
No, that's a different one. Yeah.
Okay,
but
I thought it was on the same one.
I wanted to complete another Legacy because at the time we were playing Pandemic Legacy Season 0, and I think we either finished it earlier this year or late last year. And my goal was to complete another Legacy game through and through, and I am technically half a scenario remaining.
Okay.
So again, asterisks, count that as a fail or a win, however you want, but I think that is pretty much counted.
Okay.
And there's a chance that I might even play it before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And because mind that you, is
again,
our Saturday.
We're recording on the 27th.
Yes. So I still have a couple days that we were more or less planning to potentially do that.
Yeah. So he's completed Machikoro Legacy. I haven't.
Yes, I've done Machikoro Legacy.
It's on my shelf of shame. I think you can't see it because it's behind the wreath right
It's silly. Yeah. It's good. I liked it. I mean, it's not good, but it's fun. So, I mean, it's one of the more chaotic Machikoros.
All right, our number 3s.
Number 3s.
Me.
As if there's any surprise.
So this one is kind of a push for me in a 6. I put it down as meh, and this is just to be on the internet more, be more online friendly, get more into the talking in the groups. And I've done that a little bit on the Board Game Revolution. I've done it a little bit on the Dice Tower group, Board Game Spotlight. I wanted to be more active with our Twitter account, and then Twitter went to a cluster like you wouldn't believe. And I'm like, I really don't want to deal with that. I am not a social media person. In fact, my personal Facebook, I hardly ever use unless it's in like the board game grouping, stuff like that. I don't other than that than just scroll for if I'm bored. And even then, I hardly do that. I mainly go to Twitter just to get my sports updates and stuff like that, or if there's any cool gaming sales. Other than that, I haven't really been active on social media except for a little bit in the board game arenas when we're putting up our polls or our questions, which we haven't done in a while. Not the polls, the questions itself, but it's just because, honestly, for me, social media it's a cesspool, and the further and further I take a step back from it, the further and further I feel fine with, never using my Facebook or never using my Twitter accounts and stuff 100% like that. 100%
I agree.
It's just, I originally used social media to keep in connection with my cousins that are like further away. So like I have a cousin who's married to a captain in the military, so they're always moving. Sure. So it's hard to keep up with their addresses, so it's easier to keep in touch with them through Facebook. Yeah. I have a bunch of family that lives in Tennessee. It's easier just through Facebook because one of them lives in an area where cell service is a bit spotty because they wanted to get out of the city and go more to the countryside. So because I took a step back from that, I took a step back from the board gaming social media, and it is what it is. I don't know if
I'm not upset with you if that makes you feel any better.
So I don't blame you. I didn't make it. I am going to keep my social media aspect for like using it for the Board Game Revolution. Sure. You can get in contact with us on the Twitter account. I will answer you if you ask me questions and stuff like that. Again, you can get in contact with us through our personal, or not our personal emails, but our personal podcast email. We'll contact there. If you comment on our YouTube channel, we'll comment back to you, or we'll talk with you through there. Or come into our chat when we're doing a live stream. But honestly, I think I'm not even going to make this a goal. I'm going to take a step further back from social media.
Yep. I don't blame you. And Illuminous, just to clarify, King's Dilemma, I did pick up a copy of King's Dilemma, and I have not played it yet, but that is probably next on the docket to play for me out of my collection. Yeah. Although I did just buy Skyrim, the adventure game, which it's a campaign one. It's not Legacy, I understand. Even though it's more narrative driven, King's Dilemma is technically a Legacy.
I was just watching the past video to get what my goals were. Yes. To see if I made them, because I try not to keep looking back at the goals, because I want to watch it and watch the video and go, okay. So, but we actually had this same discussion about campaign and legacies in that episode.
I mean, it's tough. It's a Skyrim, the chip theory game. It's not chip theory, but it's beefy though.
It's beefy though.
There's a lot in it. All right, number 3. I have not talked about my number 3. So my number 3. This is the one you were referring to earlier. I want to finish Time Stories. Now, when I first said that at the beginning of or the end of last year, the last time I had played it, we're still like halfway through the last scenario. The last time we had played it was March of 2020. Okay, right before the lockdowns. Which that all made sense.
Yes.
Since then, I have not played it yet. At all. An entire year and we have not played it yet. So, when I pulled up this list earlier today, and I was like, I need to review this, let's just make sure I remember this. I remember this was the one that I was like, I have not finished yet. Mm-hmm. I have since texted the group that I've been playing with it over the years, and I have another friend of ours who's now in the gaming group, and I said, hey, is there any way we can meet this week before the end of the year, for New Year's Eve, which is Saturday?
Yep.
And let's play Time Stories. Like, I will make time for you guys. Let's just finish it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was one of my goals this year, and they all pretty much agreed. So we're probably going to be meeting in the next couple days. So this is tentative. This is theoretical.
Look forward to next week's episode.
Yeah. Next week I will give you whether this is confirmed or not. But one of our new friend who's joined in on the chats, they're like, oh, I'm not familiar with Time Stories. This must be something that was before my time. And one of my friends pointed out, it's like, yeah, this is like, about 3 or 4 years ago. I was like, no, it was 7 when we started. And he was like, whoa. Whoa. We've been playing this for 7 years.
Well, I can't really say anything.
It needs to be done.
I'm still only on the 3rd scenario.
Yeah,
and I haven't played it since 2019.
And well, see, that makes sense though.
But at that point, that gaming group that we're playing,
we've been on the last scenario for 4 years. Like, I don't remember any of it. I know the rough theme, so we're gonna have to start over when we do it. Like, that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna very much like, and I talked with you a little bit about this before.
Yeah.
My goal right now, because we need to finish it, is we're just going to be playing it through the normal time units. Mm-hmm. Once it hits the bottom, we're not going to reset. We're just going to reset the timer, go again, do like we normally would, and just count the number of plays. Yeah. And then it's... Now, granted, there's some leeway because normally you would have to re-unlock certain things, I'm sure. But no, we need to get this done.
You've been waiting 7 years.
I've been waiting 7 years. Yeah. I appreciate your acceptance of this. I'm going to finish Time Stories. Check in next week. There's our cliffhanger.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see if I do it. On to number 2.
On to our number 2. Hey, look, I'm starting it. So, my number 2 is a utter failure. Not for a lack of trying. And I did finish some of the campaigns that I've done. And this is finishing campaigns.
Yes.
I did finish Initiative. But I also started that last year.
Yes.
But I was talking about more Gloomhaven. Mind you, we have played a lot of Gloomhaven. Mm-hmm. And
by we, he means you and your wife, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And the big thing about it is there's just so much of it that we got burnt out for a little, so we stopped, took a break, started playing other campaign games with our other gaming group, Role Player Adventures. Mm-hmm. And so we're getting back into it, but we didn't finish that. We didn't finish Rise of Queensdale. We did not finish Risk Legacy. We haven't even touched those two. No. And in fact, I got 2 legacies on my shelf of shame. I started Pandemic Legacy Season 2. Haven't finished Charterstone. Yeah, I have not touched
Legacy,
any of my campaign games. The only one I finished is the Initiative. I've started Vagrant Song. We haven't finished that either. So, campaign/legacy games, have not finished any of them.
Well, don't worry, because my next one was to clear off the Shelf of Shame. Which, in my defense, and even when I made this goal, I said, I would be happy if I got it down to 0 and then happened by the end of the year to get more games and it jumps back up. That's fine. But at some point during the year, I wanted it to be 0. And in middle year, I had it down to about 40. Yeah, I remember I had close. A significant jump.
We were talking about it, too.
I counted again today, 68.
So you've added 28 more
significantly more since that one point. And that was a project. No, I had it down in the 30s, actually.
Yeah, you had it in the 30s because you started like 100 and something games.
Yes, I had nearly 100. Yeah, so I was close.
It's close.
No, it's a fail.
Yeah.
It's a fail, 100%, because I never once...
It's a close failure.
Yes, close failure. And I'm even doing like caveats where it's like, oh, well, like Super Skill Pinball, I wouldn't have counted that on my Shelf of Shame anyway.
Yeah, because you've already played those games.
Spirit Island, I'm not counting on my Shelf of Shame because I've played the remake, version, the smaller version. So I know the function, I know how to play it. So technically, it's not on the Shelf of Shame, even though I haven't played that version yet.
Don't even flip the coin for number 1, because I want to go last.
Okay, that's fine. Because, I mean, that hands down, ultimate failure. Mm-hmm. But...
Hey,
alas, maybe I will.
I like how both of ours were the biggest failure.
Right. But tune in next week. Let's see if I can get through all 68 games in the next 4 days. I would die.
Because probably half of those games on that shelf is only what you would play in our group.
Yes. Big, heavy, meaty Euros, yeah.
And you don't even get your next pick till next week.
I have the Colonists on my list. The Colonists, which is like an 8-hour Euro game.
Hey, in your defense, though, you got Francis Drake and Marco Polo off your
That's true, and those were fantastic. Those were amazing. I don't know how many times I'm going to play those again, but I loved them when I did. All right, my number 1, the final one, is I want to be more inclusive, which I feel very much I have. I feel like this was a success, judging by we have people from all walks. This was kind of a gimme. I wanted to end on a
gimme, yeah.
But I remember saying on our podcast, the original one, is that when people walk into the shop, I wanted to be that person where they can walk up to and go, hey, like, are you teaching games? Absolutely. Come on in. Mm-hmm. Come hang out. Like, anybody who wants to come sit down, great time. And that was
Tell me what you like, and I'll find one for you.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't know what you like yet, let's try some stuff out and see if you like it.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one specifically during not Black Friday, but it was like that Saturday after. No, our Christmas tree lighting. It was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly busy downtown, which is where our shop is located. And the employees gave me a very explicit like, look, we're doing crowd control. No, it's the zombie walk. That's what it was.
Okay, so October, yeah.
Yes. They said very explicitly like, the only people who are allowed to sit at those tables are people playing games, right? We don't want people just coming in to sit down and rest. Like, we just don't have the capacity for it, and that's very fair.
Yeah, because it's so busy.
Right, and so I remember there was this one. She was probably like a teenage girl, came and sat down, and you could tell she just like sat down. It's like, oh, tired, busting out her phone, started texting, and I remember like I could have approached it two very different ways. I could have said, hey, look, can't unless you're playing, get out, kind of thing, or I could do what I did, which I was very proud of. I said, hey, just to let you know, like, we're having our game night here. Technically, if you're sitting down, you got to play. You need to be playing games. So let's play a game. She was like, okay. And I brought out Rhino Hero. I taught her how to play. Her friends ended up coming in. They sat down. They're like, what is this? And they played it. And they're like, this is cool. This is really neat. And I think it's sold out since then. And that was one of those approaches where it's like, look, I get you're tired. Yeah. Like, I get why you're really here.
Yeah.
But let me swindle you into this, and they try it out. And then I think they genuinely became very interested in that game. And I'm pretty certain, I know one of them bought it that night, and probably at least another person in their group would have bought it later that week. Which is awesome. Like, I want them to find their next game that they love. And I found a lot of different things. Another quick story, one of our regulars who's been there for over the years, he actually noticed that there's been multiple generations of people who come in, and you see different faces. You were one of our first ones, but we've probably had 10 to 15 different like generations and groups of people that have gone off to do different things. Either
start their own group from the shop and start having people
own group, met new friends and all that stuff, and he had noticed that now that he's coming more regularly, he's like, wow. He was like, I don't remember, like, none of these people are the same people that were there when I used to come.
Yeah.
And I told him about like how I've noticed that over the 8 years that I've done this that it does that. They have those evolutions. And I think that if I was at all, standoffish or abrasive or just not welcoming in general, that would not happen. That wouldn't have happened even 7 years ago, much less still to this day.
And this is why it's important when you have your local gaming stores, you have friendly people there. Because I've gone into gaming stores where it's just like they look at you.
Yeah, they look at you and they're like,
stare. Okay. What do you want?
Yeah.
I just came to look at games.
Right.
And that's because they're a card shop before they're anything, or they're a buddy shop.
Absolutely.
The homies and stuff like that.
And I've noticed like we have some gamers that get very stimulized with like loud noises and stuff. So when that's happening, I'm not going to bust out loud party games.
Yeah.
When they're there to have fun and I want them to be included. And then and I try to do that. Like, one of our biggest sellers are the Stephen Rhodes games. And now I like them, but I understand why people are morally against it.
Yeah.
That's totally fine by me. And nor would I probably wouldn't even bring it up. Like, I'm definitely not going to offer it for them to play.
Yeah.
But I want them to feel as comfortable as anything else. So I'm going to find themes that work for them and why. So I like to get into their mind and go, like, look, let's find what works for you and find
my
your favorite
thing that I've seen you do before. You're like, okay, what's your favorite game? And then someone came in there and said, we play Uno a lot. You're like, okay, let me show you this game. And I forget what game you showed them, but...
Yeah, there's a bunch I can build off of Uno, sure.
Yeah, and you're like, Push, okay, if you like that,
Llama.
let me show you this. I think it was Llama.
Yeah,
you were showing them, and they had a blast with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or even Rhino Hero. If I know that they have kids in the family, I'm like, Rhino Hero's a great one to play with adults too.
Yeah,
we play it multiple times just with
just us. Yeah,
we're grown men.
But mind you, we also giggle at coconuts.
Right. Yeah, the coconuts is amazing though. Like, I mean. Just the other night, I had a game night for the first time in quite some time.
Yeah.
And I get why you don't like it, but we sat there for about an hour and a half straight playing Loop and Louie, just being silly, just paddling the plane, flying around. Like, people were long gone, like we had all lost, and we're just still paddling around.
Thanks for bringing down the podcast.
But that's what it's all about, is that, and when I brought my game group back, I quite literally was like, I get why people are getting burnt out. I want to be inclusive. Like, you guys pick the games. We're having fun.
Yeah.
That's what we're playing. And we played a bunch of party games and dexterity and silly stuff. And we just had a ball playing. So that's what it's all about. got to be more inclusive. Make sure everyone's having fun because that's the best part about this hobby.
Yeah, I agree. And my number one is another roaring success. Though I didn't plan this to be a roaring success. Right. This was for me to start up our gaming group again. The ones we were playing the campaign games. Just our 4 buddies get together again.
It seems so long ago. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like I remember like we were like a little wishy-washy, but I don't think like we were like.
Well, this is the thing is like when we started this in 2021, we've only slightly got back into board gaming.
Right.
Mind you, regular. I didn't start living in this house till middle 2021.
Yes.
And so that was my goal. Is like now that I'm here, I want to start up our game group again, and be consistent every single week. And I think we've only missed maybe a month's worth of time.
Yeah, 3 or 4 maybe. Yeah,
there's a couple times where they didn't show up and it was just you and me playing games, but we were still playing. Yeah. And it's been a roaring success. I'm glad to have my game group again. And it's been nice because I have 2 game groups now. I have you, and then I meet with our couple friend, Angel Maria. I'm going to give them a shout out. Once a week. Or not once a week, like once or twice a month, we play games with them. And then, like, I'm going, that's where I'm spending New Year's Eve with. We're going to go play games with them. And it's been fun having the games. I've been able, that's why there's a big, decent chunk off my Shelf of Shame.
Right.
That's why there's more games on my Shelf of Shame, because they're getting played. Right. I'm able to shift games in and out off my Shelf of Shame, and it's been great. It's always been fun, and like our motto is, every day is a good day for board gaming. Apparently, Wednesday's the best day for us.
Yeah, Wednesday's the best for us.
Because, in all honesty, 153 games, going back to the very first goal of mine, to get 100 games New Year, I hit that by September because the whole point of this game group was to try to start cycling through our Shelf of Shames and get them whittled down. And we've been doing it. And the fact that midway through the year, we decided to change things up, where it's like, you know what? It was slowing us down because we wanted to get as many games in. We didn't want to play our longer games. Screw it. You get a day, and then it's your week, and then it's your week, and then it's your week.
Yes, which
we've gone to, like, where... So last week was my week. Next week is our friend Dom's week, so he can bring a couple games. So it could be a long game that's going to take all night, or it could be, like, 4 or 5 little games to play. And there was, like, the first time we did it, he brought 5 games. We played all 5 of those games. That's 5 games off his Shelf of Shame.
Yep.
You did it one week where we played like 4 of your games off your Shelf of Shame. It's been a lot better when we did that. So if you have a game group, I recommend doing something like that, where one person they teach the game, they learn the game, they play the game. That's their week.
100%. Yeah,
it's been working very well for us.
I can recommend that as well. Having seen that, like I did at first, I was like, man, I only get to pick games once a month.
Yeah,
but then. And I was just being like...
You're joking around.
Like, yeah, joking around. But, man, once a month... No, that's a guaranteed once a month. And it saves you the time from having to read rule books and going, like, I don't know if this is going to get to the table. Like, when we started doing that, we already had a lot of fun playing games. Yeah. But this guaranteed it. Like, that set the bar so much higher.
That's when it started, like, the Damn It Doms and Damn It Daniels. We're playing the game, it's like, God damn it, now I gotta go buy one of these.
Now I gotta buy it. Like, stop showing me games this good. But then we get more into it, and then we focus on the teach of it, we focus on, it's like, well, like, the weight's off my shoulder. And then even, like, when you guys played Twilight Imperium, like, I mean, I think it was last year when you did it.
Yeah.
But that's the same idea. It's like, hey, heads up. Like, do some homework on this game, like, because it's a heavy one.
When it's heavier games, we actually, we've done that a couple times. When it's a heavier game, it's like, hey, read it. Kemet is the one that brings to mind. My buddy was like, that was his week. He wanted to play Kemet. He sent us a link to watch it play. This way we can have an idea of how it's played. And it wasn't watch it play, but I think it was John Gitt's games.
Probably.
We're like, oh, okay, I get this. So we're refreshed. We know what's going to do because we know this is the game he's picking. And like last week, I picked Euphoria and Libertalia for my games because my buddies have already played it and they know it.
Yep.
Our friends Dom taught us Euphoria, and we were like, okay, I get this. Our friend Gamehead Geek showed us Libertalia because he's played the solo, and he's like, okay, this is different for the solo version, but this is what we got to do. And it was great. It was like my pick. I learned the games. I could have taught them, but they knew it better than I did. So
exactly.
There's that. And I taught Ghost of Christmas because I learned the rules, which, by the way, is a small rule book. But it's been good, and I highly recommend if this is what you want to do with your gaming group, instead of giving them like a pick, give them a week. This way they can pick 5 little games that allow you to stretch out as many games as you want. Because we play roughly within about 4 hour span, 5 to 4 hours. They get here about 5 or 6, and we play to about 10.
Yeah.
Sometimes when nobody has to work the next day because like it's a Christmas break or something like that, we'll play to 11 or 12.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a roaring success for us, and it's helped us a lot getting games off our shelf of shames. And another thing what I liked about it too is when we were like, okay, well, this is my shelf of shame, and it's on your shelf of shame and your shelf of shame. Let me learn this.
Yes.
This way we could get it all off everybody's shelf of shame.
And there was multiple times where, like, 2, even 3 of us, like, all at the same time. It's like, cool, it's off of our shelves.
Return to Dark Tower was one, because it was on our friend Dom's shelf. Not technically your shelf, but it allowed you to learn the game. This way you could teach it at the shop.
Yep.
So, yeah, it worked really well. And honestly, I love the fact that we made that change. And got our gaming group back.
Absolutely. Couldn't be more happy about it. Well, I mean, so mostly about half and half.
Yeah.
For us. I mean, mine has asterisks in it. But, yeah, overall, very successful year. Great
one
year
of our
in
more
gaming.
Successful years.
Yes, absolutely. Well, potentially.
Potentially.
Well, tune in next week and see if I clear off that shelf of shame. So we want to thank you for tuning in. If you ever want to reach out to us and talk to us directly during a live taping of our episodes, you can at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. And shout out to our friends Dice Chuck and Illuminous for joining us on today's episodes and joining in on our conversations.
Yeah, thank you guys. As well as you can find all video re-uploads on YouTube at Everyday Board Games 2020. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on that platform. Subscribe if you're not. Like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject. As well as all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast.
Send your hate mail to everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. Or if you want to say hi, give us ideas for future episodes, or potentially enter in future contests, everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com.
And like I said earlier, you can get in contact with us at our official Twitter account at EBG Podcast. We're not as active as we should be, and we probably won't be, but that is a way for you to get in contact with us.
That's right. So we want to thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.